Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
I'm not sure where Lord of Puppies is tonight. Puppies, goddamn.
Wow! Flashback City.
I blame my coronavirus. I'm not sure where the Lord of Pennies is right now. Hopefully he's okay and we'll catch up with us soon. I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey, and we're here to distract you for 2 hours.
Yes, I was talking to Monkey before the stream started. And I was looking for stories for tonight, as I usually do. Go to the usual suspects. And everything, everywhere is coronavirus. And as I was about to tell Monkey, but I thought I'd save it for the show. If we have a job at this point for you fine people, it is to entertain more than we bring down. Now, if there were other things going on of significance or that the news was taking an interest in, we do it. But the problem is most of the world is shut down because of this, and everything and its brother is being affected by this. Even natural disasters aside, because what was that headline you found, Monkey?
It was Utah, earthquake hits Utah, shaking corona nervous nerves.
Yeah. Everything.
Nerves,
yeah. Even earthquakes are infected with coronavirus right now, guys.
It's ridiculous.
So I was thinking, and I was going to, I kind of already did, but I'm going to officially do so now, propose to Monkey that we find something else to do tonight or something else to talk about besides coronavirus.
I'm with you.
I'm not quite sure what to talk about because, well, we discussed several things in your previous after party stream. But I don't know. What do you think would be entertaining over coronavirus? I mean, hell, everything's entertaining over coronavirus.
You know what we could do? We talk about things people could do instead of, or while they're home on their coronavirus. But I do want to get to a story first because I did make a title for this stream.
Okay, but you have something else to do first.
Yes. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button, you guys, and share our stuff because YouTube is not so down with that. And even before they didn't have people coming to work anymore, they weren't sharing our stuff. So all creators you enjoy, please share what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders had a little bit of a meltdown today.
Uh-oh.
Just a little bit. He was in D.C. for votes on coronavirus and stuff, and there was a little gaggle of reporters asking him questions. And one of them dared to ask him about his campaign.
A presidential candidate being asked about his campaign?
And he responded with, I'm dealing with a fucking global crisis. We're dealing with.
Wait. Did he say the F word?
Yes. Reportedly, he said the F word.
Bernie, please tell me that was recorded.
That I know, I'm not. I haven't heard any of it. There were all kinds of reporters around, so presumably there'd be something. I still haven't seen it, but this was Manu Raju from CNN. He's the one who reported this.
Yeah.
Bernie went on to say that, well, right now, I'm trying to do my best to make sure that we don't have an economic meltdown and that people don't die. Is that enough for you to keep me busy for today? Apparently, Bernie can only deal with one thing at a time.
Isn't Manu Raju, why isn't he the guy that conjured up something? What was it? Was it Klobuchar or someone else? Remember when he instigated a problem and she responded with some quip and what was that? I'm remembering something very vaguely now because we've gone through so much stuff now. He asked her a question and she gave an answer, and that was some kind of big controversy, even though he instigated it, something like that.
There may have been something with Klobuchar. There was the thing. What the hell is it? The Arizona senator who she called him a liberal hack. Said she wasn't answering his questions. He's a liberal hack. Huh. He's getting to be a little bit like Jim Acosta, making himself part of stories recently.
Yeah.
I just love that. I'm dealing with a fucking global crisis.
Yeah. Well, if Biden can get away with telling off a voter that he's full of shit, I suppose Bernie can be frustrated over
Oh.
a global crisis.
And that's fair, but you're also a presidential candidate, and
Hey, Trump.
you're a senator who's, yes, part of your job is to go in there and do this, but you're not personally out there in your Batman suit stopping the virus. So calm down.
Yeah, it almost sounds, it's reminiscent to me a little bit of John McCain, like, I'm going to travel back to Washington to solve this financial crisis.
Yeah.
And he goes back to Washington and he's got no plan, and Obama completely trounces him in a roundtable meeting. It's like, okay.
It was a bad look, and it's obvious he's frustrated with his campaign.
Yeah.
And instead of saying that, yeah, I'm dealing with the fucking global crisis.
I hope someone recorded it and there's a sound of it at some point.
Get out there, Batman. You fight this disease. Oh, God. But see, even his presidential campaign.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
Okay, well, with that being said, what do we talk about?
You know, people have lots of time to kill right now.
Yes, it's true.
And you and I used to do a show.
It's true.
If you were recommending, say, 3 movies, you guys have all this new time on your hands. 3 movies, must see if you haven't seen them yet. What would you tell people they should sit down and watch?
Well, I think the first thing I have to do is see what exactly would be immediately available to people, because they can't go anywhere and ordering something. So I'm going to have to go to Netflix, because ubiquitously speaking, Netflix is the place to go, or Amazon Prime, I guess. So assuming you have, let's start with Amazon Prime. That seems a bit more spread out than anything
Plus,
else.
you can buy all kinds of movies on Prime. So
yes. All right. So movies on Prime. Well, obviously, by default, there's The Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to say it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good movie.
It's a great movie. Best movie ever made. Now, it also depends on what genre we're talking about. Now, I'm going to actively avoid movies about diseases.
You're not going to recommend Outbreak?
No, I'm not going to recommend Outbreak. However, if you want to see the extreme end of paranoid diseases just to overblow the thing, John Carpenter's The Thing is probably the best one to see.
Just scare the shit out of people completely.
Just scare the shit out of yourselves. Use it as an allegory for coronavirus and the hysteria and panic thereof to the nth degree. John Carpenter's The Thing. Let's see. But what else? Now, if you're alone with a loved one, let's say a significant other. Let's say you're a guy, and you want to impress your lady, right? I don't know if this is on Amazon.com, but when I used to work at the video store in the olden days of yore, there was one movie that I kept being told was the best date movie, romantic tearjerker, get your girly friend into a mood kind of movie. And that is called Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour. I can't tell you much about the plot because it'll give it away. But if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I don't know, stranger things have happened, who is one of those who likes sappy tearjerker material, you cannot go wrong with Somewhere in Time. I mean, obviously it's a little dated. I think it was from 1979 or something. Mm-hmm. But that was always a good one.
Back before you got cripple.
Yeah. If you want post-apocalyptic fare, given what we're going through right now, and again, guys, I am giving out movies that are not exactly new off the spot, but then a lot of the new movies these days aren't that great. If you can find a copy, if it's on Amazon, if it's on Netflix, I don't know. There's an Australian film or a New Zealand film from many years ago called The Quiet Earth, and it's probably one of the most interesting sci-fi post-apocalyptic movies I've seen in my life. It's very thought-provoking. Won't tell you too much about it, but you look it up, give it a shot. The Quiet Earth is a good one. I'm going through all the classics in my head right now. If you like a detective story, find Memento. If you've never seen Memento, Monkey can attest. Memento.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, that was one of Christopher Nolan's earlier movies. Earlier than that, if you can find a copy, Christopher Nolan's Following. It's just called Following. It's a black and white. It's very, very bizarre little movie. But if you like sort of mystery slash noir type stuff, Following and then Memento might be a good double feature. For action, well,
See, you're being very accommodating.
what do you mean?
Was it like just tell them what to watch? You're like, if you like this, you should watch this. You're very accommodating.
Well, let's see. My pedigree, as it were, was when I was working at the video store. Someone would come and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a movie like blah," and so I'd have to go through my personal like catalog and everything because everybody likes different things. You know, I like a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah. I mean, I guess what do people like? Let's see. Dookie Shoe says, "I love Quiet Earth." Good, you've seen it. What genres do you like, guys? Throw some out there. That'll help me refine my recommendations a little bit.
See, I think you go for in what we're going through right now. You either go romance or comedy because you should either be fucking or laughing right now. Those are my choices in the world.
That's true. Romance. Okay, for a little spicy romance with some comedy and a little drama, look for Dangerous Beauty. There's a lot of faces in that movie you'll recognize that weren't as big then as they are now, like Rufus Sewell and a couple other people. It's a little kinky. It's a period drama, so to speak, and it's very, very good. It's sort of one of those things that kind of fell through the cracks in the 90s, but Dangerous Beauty is a good one. I believe the lady who was Braveheart's One True Love is the main actress in that. I forget her name off the top of my head, but she's not too bad looking either. TC Bog says, "A Boy and His Dog." Yes, Don Johnson as a teenager, one of the main influences for the Fallout franchise. Boy and His Dog is a great, very simple sci-fi / horror movie, kind of. I mean, you have to kind of watch it to see. Let's see, comedy. Well, you can't go wrong with Airplane.
Yeah, if you like silly comedy, definitely.
Yeah. If you like intelligent comedies or slightly more intelligent comedies, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
You know, I was never really a fan of that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody. It's got goofball, because I mean, Steve Martin does like the goofball slapstick, and then Michael Caine does a little bit more of the high-minded stuff.
Watch Trading Places, guys.
One
of my go-to comedies of all time.
Trading Places is good.
It's amazing. One of Murphy's first films and definitely one of his best.
Motto Winter says family movie. Oh,
family movie.
You know, when I think family movie, I think of like Harry and the Hendersons.
That's a good one.
Harry and the Hendersons. We're reaching back, guys, because honestly, you know, the movies of our early years are probably better than half the crap they come out with these days.
Most of it is, because they don't come out with movies anymore. They come out with blockbusters.
Jim Healis, Quigley Down Under. Now, that is a movie I own a copy of, because that is one of those movies that's just sort of, it's a perfect little film. It's so oddball because it sounds like the second in a series. Like the first movie would just be Quigley, and then there's Quigley Down Under, and this, that. Because when I first heard of the movie, I thought, was there a movie with Tom Selleck before this called Quigley? But there wasn't. Is
that because of the Rescuers and the Rescuers Down Under?
No.
Well, I'm just wondering, because I mean, that's the Rescuers Down Under. It's not exactly that time frame. It's a little bit earlier, but
yeah, no, it's for those of you that don't know, it's Tom Selleck is an American cowboy, and he goes down to Australia for a job, let's say, and he runs into Alan Rickman, who runs an Australian cattle ranch. Now, won't say anything else because there's just so much that's good in that movie, including Alan Rickman versus Tom Selleck, which you wouldn't ever imagine, but it's a great little movie. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh, as far as like Australian Westerns, there's a little movie I've recommended several times. Find The Proposition. I swear to God, Monkey, you would love this movie. You like Westerns. The Proposition is Australian Western. It's got, what's his name? God damn it. Danny Houston. It's got the guy from LA Confidential, whose name I always forget because he was the guy with the glasses in the other guy.
Zombie, go sit in the corner.
What did Zombie say? Leonard Part 6. Oh, yeah, if you like Bill Cosby, no, get Ghost Dad.
Go sit in the corner. You're not allowed to say Leonard Part 6. No.
Humble Place is an American Tale. That's a good family movie.
When they said family movie, my first thought was Beethoven.
Yeah, the first one's not that bad. The first one's not. Oh, comedy. Oh, I just reminded me because of the Charles Grodin. Dave with Kevin Kline and
Dave's a pretty good movie. Yeah,
Dave's a really good, and that's it's a little, it's PG, so maybe it's a little bit spicier than a family movie, but it's a decent movie. I was going to also say The Secret of Nim, although that's one of those cartoon family movies that's a little dark and scary in places, which honestly I think some kids' movies need more of.
Thank you, Pincalo, who says good old family movie. Stay tuned.
Are you? That's the second time that's come up. The John Ritter movie
in this week. Yeah.
Faithless says Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is great.
Groundhog Day is one of my movies that I watch yearly, and not necessarily just because it's on TV around Groundhog's Day. I actually put the DVD in myself and sit down and watch it. Or one of the kids is watching it, so I'll sit down with them and watch it.
Oh, Captain Brambles, After My Own Heart, Cloak and Dagger, Dabney Coleman, and I think it was the kid from, was it Henry Thomas? I think it was Henry Thomas from E.T. Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite. That's the first time in my entire life I ever saw the concept of a role-playing game, and it scared the hell out of me. Especially, I won't give it away. There's a particular character in there with a particular physical feature. And when they show up, it scared the hell out of me as a kid. And also it was one of the earliest movies I ever saw William Forsythe in. So if you don't know who William Forsythe is, you'll know him if you see him. He was in there as the computer geek guy. He was also Flat Top in Dick Tracy. God, he's been in all sorts of TV movies and things since then, but you'd know him if you saw him. Oh,
several people.
Yeah,
good. I'm sorry.
I was going to say he played Al Capone in the Untouchables TV show back in the 90s.
And several people brought up Blazing Saddles. Yeah, Blazing Saddles, Airplane, The Naked Gun. These all go together. They're all great movies. Blazing Saddles is great. I think you should watch Blazing Saddles if you like comedy, but be aware of two things. One, by today's standards, it is horrifically racist. It's not. Richard Pryor helped write most of those jokes in there.
Yeah.
But two, the last 15 to 20 minutes of that movie, you can just turn off. You don't need to even watch it.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage.
Red Dirt Runner says the San Francisco Kid. I think you mean the Frisco Kid, Gene Wilder. That's I think that's
the Frisco Kid.
Somebody said Clue earlier, and yeah, Clue's still great. They keep talking about doing a remake or some kind of like shared universe thing with them. Like, no, stop. Flight of the Navigator, man, that movie was something else when I was a kid. That movie was some Pee Wee Herman's voice as the ship and the little creatures and everything, and Sarah Jessica Parker when she was a teenager with the purple hair. It's like I went to a Twisted Sister concert. Like, what's Twisted Sister? Like, oh, you're from the past.
Fern Gully. Oh, wow.
Fern Gully. Okay, so yeah, if you want to know where Avatar got its plot from, watch Fern Gully and then watch Dances with Wolves. There you go.
Frost is so bad they're good movies. Oh, so many.
So bad they're good. Well, I mean, the classic
Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates. Yes, we Monkey and I did a review of Ice Pirates.
No, you just said The Room. The Room is just so bad it's bad.
It depends on how you look at it. It's not good. It's just funny, cringy, bad, which is entertaining in and of itself.
Ice Pirates it's like, oh, wow, they made this movie and it still somehow works because of how weird it is. Pincalo, thank you. Last one, The Rocketeer. I've never seen that.
Rocketeer's great. It's just a great little movie. The effects have not stood up the test of time in some places. That's true. But it's just it's like what a comic book movie, if it came out today, it would be a fun sort of Ant-Man-ish comic book movie. And it's got a lot of style. It's got that 40s stuff going on. It's good old that and The Shadow. I mean, The Shadow with Alec Baldwin is not the best movie in the world, but the music, the style, the overall mood of it is great. And I think it was one of the first movies I ever saw Ian McKellen in way back then. before. And, speaking of Ian McKellen, you want a horror movie with, I guess a thriller, Apt Pupil. You get a copy or find a copy somewhere of Apt Pupil with Ian McKellen. Oh God, that was a great flick.
Assassin of the Grey says Ice Pirates is fun. Anytime you got space herpes, you're having fun.
Oh God, but man, some of those costumes and props look like they cost about $3 in cardboard.
Yeah, they did, yeah. But go back to the original Trek, man, on TV. Emerald says Galaxy Quest. I love Galaxy Quest, and I really wish they would have made a sequel to that.
It's one of those things where one is enough because you always want more, but if they tried to stretch that out, I think it would have fallen flat. It would have just stretched the joke out too far.
Well, it depends. You can't do the exact same joke. They would have to know that they're actually part of this universe now and go on an actual adventure kind of thing, and the things that fuck up because now they think they're, But I expected to hate that movie.
Oh, so
when I sat down to watch it, and it was so good.
Yeah. I mean, the Orville is probably, if you take Star Trek and mix it with a little bit of Galaxy Quest, you kind of have the Orville now.
I've still never watched the Orville.
I've seen 2 episodes, and it was in the first season, and I got why it was popular because it combines silly comedy with some of that old-fashioned Star Trek sense of wonder to everything, and it wasn't all about shooting stuff and blowing things up. Problem solving, diplomacy, that kind of thing. It's just too much of a comedy for me to really get into it in the same way.
Stefan says Under the Rainbow. I haven't thought of that movie in forever.
Oh God.
The only thing I remember about that movie, and it was because of when it came out, it was on a channel called Spectrum. It was one of the first cable channels I'd ever heard of when we lived in Chicago. And you had to pay for it, and if you didn't pay for it, it was really scrambled,
Mm-hmm.
And you could watch Under the Rainbow on there, and it had midgets in it, which I love. You know me and my midgets,
mm-hmm.
and titties. That's the only 2 things I remember. I couldn't tell you anything else about that movie.
If you like really cheesy sort of, so there was a studio back in the 90s called Full Moon Entertainment. And they did really low budget horror movies. There was the Puppet Master movies.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I think was it Bloodstone or Radu or whatever. There was Doll Man. There was Demonic Toys. And honestly, Full Moon Entertainment, I think, is one of the first studios to ever actually create a shared universe. Because Doll Man, the concept was an alien from another planet comes down to Earth. He looks just like a human, except that compared to the rest of us, he's like 2 feet tall. His race is just tiny. And so he runs around as a fighter of aliens or whatever against everybody else who's normal size like we are on Earth. And then there was a movie called Demonic Toys, which was, kind of self-explanatory. It's a bunch of toys that are possessed by demons. And then one day it was Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. And it was like all one shared universe. And it was great. And so if you can find those, they're probably dirt cheap now or really easy to find. But like things like that in Ghoulies and Critters, those sort of gimmick little scary monster puppet movies.
Mm-hmm.
Puppet Master 2 is probably my favorite because there's a particular scene, a particular actress in there. Her name was Charlie. I remember it was Charlie something. Anyway, she gets up after having sex and she doesn't have a top on, and that was one of my earliest happy memories of a naked woman.
I loved movies for that when I was,
Spradling. Charlie 13. Spradling. That was her name. Charlie Spradling. Sorry, go ahead.
It's just not as exciting to see titties in movies anymore because you can see them any time of day.
The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. Yeah.
There's titties everywhere. We have an abundance of titties.
Dark Allow says, why haven't we mentioned Goonies yet?
Goonies, family film. There's one.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's a family film now. Sure.
It wasn't even then. It's just that you don't want to really little kids because there are parts of it that are scary.
The Blender. Oh God.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. The kids' movies that I remember the most and had the most fun with were the ones that had moments of actual like terror or something that was scary, because stories should have that for little kids. They should be able to understand the difference between the good and the bad. Not everything should be all fluffy and puffy like a lot of the kids' movies do. There should be an edge to some moments where the bad guys are actually scary. You know, and especially like at the beginning when it's like there's a dead body. It's like, it's so stiff. Like, what the fuck?
For a good laugh, Nothing But Trouble and Burbs.
Nothing but trouble.
I don't know if I've ever seen Nothing But Trouble.
Oh God, it's Demi Moore, Chevy Chase,
and John Candy, right?
No, well, John Candy's in there, yes, but Dan Aykroyd plays like 3 or 4 different characters.
Oh yeah, okay, I have seen a long.
It is so, and Taylor Negron's, and it's so bizarre, so bizarre. And if you're going to talk about Nothing But Trouble, you might as well watch Hudson Hawk along with it.
Oh, Hudson Hawk was great. But as for the Burbs has a very special place in my heart. It is the last movie I went to the theater with my mom. So it'll always have a special place. That's a dumb fucking movie. It's got some moments of humor and stuff, but and again, the end and all. It's one of those 80s movies where they didn't know how to end it exactly. It's like
another good family film, Explorers, if you can find that one. Explorers is really good. It's sort of a Goonies-esque kind of thing. The very first movie I ever went to the theater alone for, because it was the only theater playing at that time that was PG-13, and I just turned 13, I think, or something like that. Roxanne with Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah. And so that movie still has a special place in my heart because it was just a harmless comedy. And I didn't know much about the Cyrano de Bergerac story until after that movie. Go ahead.
IJ, thank you so much. He says, Happy Gilmore. You will rarely, if ever, hear me recommend a Adam Sandler film. I know lots of people love that movie.
It's his most tolerable. Let's put it that way. It is most tolerable. And everybody says, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. And that's about it. Almost everything. And I know a lot of people say whatever the latest one is, Rough Cut or Diamonds or Diamond in the Rough, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. I just saw when we were at Walmart, I saw that was one of the new movies out. And like,
a lot of people say that one's really good. I haven't seen it yet, but everything, man, Adam Sandler is a very obnoxious actor just overall. And I remember in college, my roommate made me watch Little Nicky. And I just about keeled over and died. It was so bad. So bad.
No, and I get why some people like him, but to me, he's the Jerry Lewis of my time.
Well, at least Jerry Lewis, when he wasn't playing an absolute, ridiculous cartoon character, he could actually be funny.
Thank you, privileged white male, who says Once Bitten before PC Jim Carrey. Once Bitten was great.
Once Bitten was good.
It's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't tell you how well it holds up. But at the time, it was a really funny movie. And I saw it probably 10 years ago, and it was still okay.
If you ever want to, and I don't know if you can find a copy because it was a TV movie. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Anger Illinois, says, I don't need movies. I just need to bust rocks and shoot zombies in the face. I feel you, man. We'll be playing 7 Days to Die over on Ranting Monkey Games right after this.
Like I say, it was a TV movie from many, many, many years ago. I don't know if you can find a copy, but if you ever want to see Jim Carrey play a legitimate dramatic role before he was famous, there's a movie called Doing Time on Maple Drive. And Jim Carrey plays, I think it was like the stepbrother or brother of one of the main characters, and he's an alcoholic. And he's really good. He's really, really good. It's one of those things that's like, wow, And Jim Carrey can do drama, or could to a certain extent, but it was always with a comedic edge now because you can't take him too seriously.
I love Ace Ventura, but that's one, if somebody said, that movie's dumb, I don't know how you can watch him, he's annoying, I'd go, I agree. But for some reason, Ace Ventura works for me.
Well, because the character is basically built around his kind of humor. It's his humor personified, so that is the character, and you can get away with it that way.
There are a couple of points where I even fast forward if I watch it, but it's one of the few of his comedy wise that I can watch. What was the one about the theater?
The Majestic.
The Majestic wasn't horrible. The Truman Show wasn't bad.
No, it was all right.
But in neither of those was he acting Jim Carrey. He can act. But it's
You
like you've
can.
said so many times, some of these motherfuckers need a director, and
Right.
very much like Robin Williams movies, man. Watch most of Robin Williams comedy movies, and they're just Robin Williams doing his set
Yep.
in the premise of the movie.
Yeah. And then you see him in something like Dead Again, which was like one of the first dramatic things I'd ever seen him in. And then, of course, 1 Hour Photo.
Mm-hmm.
You ever want to see Robin Williams completely out of his element, and you don't. And the thing about that movie is that if you're already familiar with Robin Williams and his style of acting and his personality and everything else, the fact that he's in a movie that is so separate from his normal fare makes it even more tense because you don't know what he's going to do next. He's not like somebody who always plays someone creepy or a villain or something. So as a person, as a character actor, everything else, you don't know where he's going, which actually adds to the tension because you have no idea. It's like, what's he going to do? It's great. Somebody said Robot Jocks. Robot Jocks, oh my God. Cheese movie, but it's really entertaining and has a sentimental place in my heart. I went to see that on my friend's 13th birthday. We went to see Robot Jocks, and it's ridiculous. And the stop motion miniatures of the robots are great, and it's yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Massive says The Money Pit. Oh man, back when Tom Hanks used to do comedy.
Yeah, the Bachelor Party. Remember Bachelor
Party?
Turner and Hooch.
Turner, indeed, yeah. And then he got which was first, Philadelphia?
Well, I mean, first before Turner and Hooch?
No, when he started his dramatic turn, where he became a serious actor.
Yeah, probably. I think Philadelphia was the first real super dramatic role, unless you want to count Mazes and Monsters.
No. Going to his where he had his run of 2 Oscar wins, and then he probably should have got the third. It was Forrest Gump, Philadelphia, and what was the third one in that run?
It wasn't Apollo 13,
Was it? Maybe it was. Maybe it was Apollo 13. This is where he breaks out as this serious actor.
Yeah, Joe versus the Volcano.
Oh dear God! How dare you?
It's great. What are you talking about?
If I could send you to the corner, I would send you to the corner.
Joe versus the Volcano.
That movie sucked ass.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I saw somebody did an analysis of that movie, like I forget what it was, and they went through all the themes and all the visuals and everything and lined it up and showed how each phase of the film shows a development of this, that it got very deep. And he wasn't making shit up. He's like, okay, you see how the people are walking to work down this path that's kind of shaped like a lightning bolt? The lightning bolt becomes the symbol of bad things throughout the course of the film. And you see it here and here and here. It's like, oh, and then you see the colors change and the guy and the gray. It was actually really interesting to see that. I don't know if it makes it a better movie quality-wise, but it definitely makes it a better movie to watch, to look out for those things.
Humble Clay says Over the Top. Now, I'm going to discuss that for a moment. And here's why. I agree with you. Over the Top was a great movie, but it is a great 80s movie.
Yes.
It's an absolutely ridiculous premise. It's an absolutely stupid-ass movie, but it still worked for me.
There's some movies that cannot escape the era in which they were made.
Yeah.
Usually by the music or the clothing styles or something. There's just some movies that, and it doesn't necessarily make them bad. It just makes them sort of locked into an era that they can't escape from. Like, some movies are timeless, some movies just transcend everything else, even if they are set in a particular period. But yeah, some movies just can't escape their natural origins. Like No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan.
Oh God, yes.
And Tiny Lister, or whatever his name was, where it's Hulk Hogan versus Zeus.
Yeah. Over the Top. For those of you who don't know the story of Over the Top, it's about a arm wrestling truck driver who's trying to win the love of his kid.
Yeah.
It is a great movie. There's a rich grandpa who's a douchebag, and there's the big bald dude who's this evil, menacing arm wrestler. It's if you've never seen it, watch Over the Top at least once.
Now, speaking of Stallone movies, this is one that I think is very underrated. Nighthawks, with Stallone and I think it was Billy D. Williams.
I'm not familiar.
It's not one of his most well-known ones, but it was actually pretty good. It was a really good drama. It wasn't very cheesy. I don't know how well it'll stand up these days, but give it a shot. You can probably find it fairly easily.
Look, guys, I'm not arguing that Over the Top's not an awesome movie, but it is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the premise of that movie, and it is dumb. I love the movie. I do, and I recommend people watch it, but it is fucking dumb.
Oh, Zombie Teddy says Get Carter. No. If you want to see Get Carter, don't watch the Stallone version. It was so bad. Watch the original Michael Caine version. Yeah, it's a little dated, of course, because it's Michael Caine back in like the 70s or something, or the 80s, but that's a much better movie. Jim Beams is Lady Hawk. Lady Hawk. Oh man, now there's a fantasy movie that doesn't get a lot of attention. Richard Donner directed that. Rutger Hauer. I think somebody else was supposed to play Rutger Hauer's part, but they fell out at the last minute. He took it over, and you can't think of anybody else in the role now except Rutger Hauer. That's a great movie.
Bring up 80s movie Red Dawn. Red Dawn is also an 80s movie.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those, the premise is absolutely fucking stupid. Teenagers save the country from communism.
Right.
From an all-out Russian invasion.
Well, Russian-Cuban invasion.
Yes.
Now, did you hear what they had to do for the remake they did a few years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to change. They had to digitally. So the original premise of the remake with Thor, before I think they made it before he was Thor, or just after or something. Anyway, so it was the same concept, except it was a Chinese invasion of the United States. But when they actually thought about it after the fact or test screened it or something, people said, if you make China the invading murderous enemy of this movie, we can't sell this movie overseas. And they're like, oh shit. So they went in and digitally changed flags and patches and overdubbed people's voices and such to turn the enemy into North Korea. Now, how could North Korea invade the United States and take it over to the point where we're all locked down because of North Korea invasion? It couldn't, but they pretended because they had no other choice, and it made a bad movie even worse.
In chat, Angry ass. The guy that played Al Bundy was in a movie where he becomes the stepdad of a boy and he does silly things to win him over, including blowing up fireworks.
Dutch!
Any idea about that one? It's called Dutch.
Dutch is great.
It's a classic.
Dutch is great. Yeah, I know. If you can find Dutch, that's a great movie.
Yeah, because the kid is spoiled as fuck and Dutch doesn't put up with that shit, but he still has to because he's trying to win him over. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Atheist Icon says District 9. I hate District 9. I'll tell you why. District 9 can't make up its mind what kind of movie it wants to be. It starts out as a pseudo-documentary looking back on past events. And then it moves into found footage type stuff. And then it moves into over-the-shoulder third-person kind of stuff. And you have all the people at the beginning of the movie talking about, in past tense, what happened to the main character. And yet, they have by the time you get to the end of the movie, you realize there is absolutely no way that the characters at the beginning of the movie could have any knowledge of what happened to the main character at the end of the movie. And it doesn't know what kind of movie it is, and it makes absolutely no sense. And the main thing that makes that movie completely, I was unable to take it seriously at all from the beginning, was because of all the places in the world that you set a story that effectively puts a othered race of people, or creatures in this case, in a separate apartheid system, is South Africa. Like, that would be the last place on the planet that would put up with that kind of mentality or try to exercise it again. And it just, that alone made me go, no. And then, the special effects were great. Don't get me wrong. It was a really good-looking movie. But all sorts of parts of that movie did not make sense to me, and I just didn't enjoy it.
We've been asked a couple of times about Labyrinth. I'm a male, so I didn't really enjoy it.
I liked it because of the Jim Henson twist on the whole thing. And Jennifer Connelly, I think it's when I started having a crush on her when I was a little kid, because she was pretty. And then, of course, when Career Opportunities came out, Career Opportunities. Not a great movie, but Jennifer Connelly, what can I say?
I've never met anybody who wasn't a woman who that was one of their favorite movies. And I'm not being sexist there. It's just true.
Yeah, no, it's not one of my favorite movies, but it has a sentimental place just because it was one of those movies I watched. I ended up watching a lot as a kid, and so I remember a lot about it. So,
Cass one asks, my dad was super into a movie where the main character is transported to an authoritative alternative timeline. I can't remember the name. Any ideas? Not based on that.
well, there was the Philadelphia Experiment 2, which had to do with being transported to an authoritarian timeline. That's the first one that comes to my mind. I'm sure that there are plenty of others, but as far as somebody from like our world being transported somewhere, look up Philadelphia Experiment 2 and see if that doesn't ring a bell. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know.
Michael Hatfield says Romancing the Stone, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Great movie.
If you haven't seen it, watch it. Do not, even under threat of death, watch Jewel of the Nile. Take the death. You'll be better off.
No. That Jewel of the Nile was a complete waste of time. But
that movie's garbage.
Yeah, and you know, Romancing the Stone is one of those movies that makes me miss just having a nice adventure comedy movie that doesn't require like gigantic explosion. And does everything have to be a blockbuster? Does everything have to be some giant spectacle? Can't you have just a good movie anymore?
No, it was fun, and the story of it is entirely believable.
Oh, Midnight Express. Sorry, go ahead.
You don't have to like completely suspend disbelief to watch that. It's one of those you can get pulled into because of that.
Yeah.
But Jewel of the Nile, man, oh, what a letdown. Holy shit. You talk about a movie when we were talking about Galaxy Quest earlier, movie that, you know what, maybe it's best to just leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
There's your perfect example. Okay, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I jumped. Midnight Exile said Free Jack. Yes, Emilio Estevez, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, and Mick Jagger.
Never watched it.
It's or if you're talking about people like Transport, well, I guess there's a movie called Millennium, which is Chris Christopherson and I think Brigitte Nielsen. And the plot is, in the future, the human race is dying out, right? It's like we're on the verge of extinction. But they've developed time travel in the future. So what they do is they look back in history and find moments in history where a whole bunch of people are about to die. And then they transport them to the future just before they die so they won't be missed and mess up the timeline. So they usually go after people who are all going to die in a plane crash. So they jet themselves to the past. They replace all of the people on the plane with dead bodies so that they find something in the crash, and then they take everybody back to the future to help repopulate the human race going forward. It's a very interesting concept. Cheesy movie though.
You've been asked a couple of times about Fist with Stallone. I've never seen it.
I know of it. I've never seen it, honestly.
Old Guy Gamer, there you go. Alan Quartermain in King Solomon's Mine. There's also Alan Quartermain in The Lost City of Gold.
Was that Richard Chamberlain?
Richard Chamberlain.
Yeah.
And didn't that have Darth Vader as his big black friend?
You mean James Earl Jones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't he the one that played him?
It's been so long since
It's been a long time. I haven't seen those since the 80s. Actually, they were kind of a rip off of Indiana Jones, but they were still decent. They probably don't hold up today. It's been a long time since I've watched them, but they were great at the time.
Let's see. He has been portrayed by Richard Chamberlain, Sean Connery. Oh, that's right, because of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Cedric Hardwicke, Patrick Swayze played Alan Quartermain.
What? How many Alan Quartermain movies have there been?
Let's see. Books, popular culture. This doesn't tell me much, but when did he play? When did Patrick Swayze play Alan Quartermain? Hold on a second. Hold on, Alan. No, not that. Alan. No, I have no idea. I mean, I'd have to look at like his IMDb or something, I guess. But Patrick Swayze played Alan.
I didn't realize, because I've never seen League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I didn't realize that's
2004 television miniseries, 2 episodes, King Solomon's Mines, And there's Patrick Swayze looking like a quasi Indiana Jones type. I'll put the link in the chat. I had no idea. Was it any good? It doesn't have any reviews on it or anything. Television series, film. It's a Hallmark movie. But Patrick Swayze and Allison Doody. Do you remember who Allison Doody is?
No.
Do you remember Elsa, the blonde Nazi from Last Crusade?
Oh, of course.
That's Allison Doody. She was hot. I don't know if she's still hot. She's probably old now. Let's see. Red Dirt Runner says, I think he means Zardoz. Zardoz with Sean Connery. Yeah, that is a fucked up movie. That's a weird movie. Humble Clay says Remo Williams. Oh yeah, Remo Williams. God.
I just looked it up to make sure I was right. Yeah, that is James Earl Jones, and wow, he looks young.
Oh yeah, no,
wow, he looks young.
when James Earl Jones was young, man, he was built, man. He looked like he could like knock your head off.
With my memory, I never know, so I have to check these things.
Yeah, he looked like.
Yeah, we used to watch that a lot.
I saw him. I saw some old footage of him being interviewed or something, and he looked like one of those guys who could be a boxer if he just stood up and like threw a punch. He was in really good shape.
See, and when I was a kid, I loved those kind of movies, and I wish we had a lot more of them, like the Indiana Jones, like Alan Quatermain, like Romancing the Stone. It's one of the reasons I like National Treasure, even though it's not a very good movie.
Yeah,
it's still an adventure that they're going on and right. Tracking down these clues throughout. I like that kind of stuff, and we just don't do them very often.
Yeah, just a fun adventure movie without giant spectacle. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I mean, you can have a climactic action scene or something, sure, but not giant explosions. And for God's sake, please more practical effects, not CGI or other that stuff. And I know that these days, a lot of the stuff they do, you can't tell the difference between CGI and reality because they make it look so good. But all the same, or at least keep it low key at best. Because I just getting sick of just like, the giant explosion and something else or whatever.
Humble Clay says we have Jumanji. I still haven't watched any of those.
The new ones? I haven't watched
any
the new
of
ones. The first one with Robin Williams was fun. I haven't seen any of the new ones at all. The Rock. I can't really see The Rock as anything other than a comedic character, unfortunately, because he's done so many comedies and most of his acting is so overblown. And he tried to do some quasi dramatic stuff with Southland Tales, but that movie was just so bizarre and bad. And after Scorpion King, I just can't do it.
Frosted said Brendan Fraser's Mummy. I've tried watching that.
Oh, that first one's great.
I've tried, and I can't get past the beginning of the movie. I'm just like, this is boring to me.
That one is just the right balance of adventure and comedy. So it's lighthearted, it's fun, it's got a little bit of scary if you're a kid. The effects are a little off these days, of course, but I didn't enjoy the other ones very much, the sequels. But the first one's all right.
Speaking of The Rock, I did enjoy him in Hercules.
See, I didn't see Hercules because, again, the Rock. Dwayne Johnson doesn't really inspire me to. He's not a draw for me. He
wasn't for me either. And I was actually expecting the Tale of Hercules. I didn't realize what they did with this movie because it's just not the Tale of Hercules,
right?
And it's a complete retelling in a different kind of way. And it was actually I was impressed. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Don't see the Conan remake of like 2006 or 8 or whatever the hell it was. That was bad. Oh, so bad. Jason Momoa.
The only Conan movie I will ever watch is Conan the Librarian. Until they bring that out, I'm not watching one.
Oh man. Let's see.
Beast Slayer. You ever see Beast Slayer?
Yeah.
Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster with was that the singer? Right? Was that
I don't know his name, but yeah.
Oh, fuck. I forget his first name all of a sudden, but yeah, it was like Ryan Singer or something. Not Brian Singer. Shit, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, no, Beastmaster, the first one. Now, Beastmaster through the portal of time, where he ends up in Los Angeles. Stay away from that. Mark Singer, that's what it was. To stay away from him. Stay away from him. Frosted Glass, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That is an excellent movie. Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer. That's great. And Monkey hasn't seen it. He should really see it. It's so good, so funny. That was written and I believe also directed by Shane Black. Shane Black, who wrote and directed Iron Man 3. Now, Iron Man 3 is not Shane Black's best material, and certainly the latest Predator movie was not what Shane Black should have been doing. But at least Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was kind of the alignment of genre and character and dialogue just came together perfectly. And if Shane Black made more movies like that, he'd be off to the races. Elsewise, everything else he's done has been I mean, Iron Man 3 wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that great, you know. Drives is Assassin's Creed. Drives a great noirish movie. I mean, hell, I don't think I've seen Albert Brooks that scary ever in a movie. And it's saying something. You say Albert Brooks is scary, right? But he makes a great villain. But yeah, the music to that movie, the overall tone of it, everything is the cinematography. Nicholas, I can't pronounce his name to save my life. It's Nicholas Winding Refn. He directed that one. The same guy. If you can find it, the original Pusher series out of I think it was Denmark or whatever that he directed. Go ahead.
No, not you. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with something on my phone here with the family.
You got a super chat.
Garrett, thank you so much. Who says From Paris with Love with Travolta?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna set that aside for a second. Anyway, if you can find it, the Pusher trilogy. There's Pusher. There's Pusher 2, Blood on My Hands, and Pusher 3, I Am the Angel of Death. Mads Mikkelsen, his first movie role ever was in the first Pusher movie. And yeah, there are subtitles, but those are some of the best sort of neo-noir crime movies made. Do not watch the British remake of Pusher. It is so bad. It is terrible. So bad. Watch the originals. They are all worth your time, and they're a great trilogy, little universe of crime stories, and it's wonderful. From Paris with Love, John Travolta and what's his name? I forget the guy from Velvet Goldmine, whose name I suddenly am forgetting. It's so cheese. It's a big block of cheese. I mean, I guess it's entertaining on one level or another, but it's so bad. Although Travolta's kind of entertaining. I don't know. I guess it's an acquired taste. Wandering Lisa, Reign of Fire is great. Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale. If you like dragons, I mean, that's some of the best like dragon action you'll ever see in a modern setting and kind of thing. It's an interesting movie. It's fun. It kind of loses steam about halfway through. It's an interesting setup. Let's see, Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is a great series.
Really great series.
That whole thing is great, especially with the interviews with the actual guys interspersed in there. Oh, it's so good. And that one episode where they're like running around the trenches and everything. I don't want to give anything away. Band of Brothers is great. If you're interested in World War II, if you like action and stuff and like sort of historic stuff. I mean, obviously a lot of the stories in there and things were altered and timelines and things were altered for pacing and history and stuff. And there are a few glaring historical errors in there, but if you're not a history buff, you're not going to notice them necessarily.
There's a great part, and I don't mind ruining this. There's a part in the show where it's suggested that one of the U.S. officers murdered some Germans, and they asked him about that, and he goes, "I don't have a problem with that telling." He doesn't confirm it,
right?
But he doesn't deny it either. It was a rumor that apparently went around that he did this. So gave him all a cigarette first and had a nice conversation.
And then shot him, yeah. Red Dirt Runner says, Rock and Rolla, best movie ever. Rock and Rolla was one of those movies like it probably deserved. It was meant to be the start of like a trilogy or something. And It just didn't take off. But yeah, if you can find a copy, it's a decent movie to watch. It's an interesting movie. Batteries Not Included is absolute fun. That's a good family movie.
I
mean, it is a little bit like if you like Cocoon kind of
Yes.
thing, because Jessica Tandy is there, Steve Guttenberg is I think in it as well. So yeah, it's a little like that. Speaking of Cocoon, the first Cocoon's not that bad if you like family movie stuff too.
I like the first Cocoon, yeah.
First Cocoon's okay. Let's see.
Real quick, over on the Streamlabs. Let me get the. There we go. Steve the Stare Demon says, "I'm watching you. I see you looking at me too. I promise I will be gentle. I will be damned if the pathogen lab in hell is taking you with COVID-19. I worked too hard to get you or to make you love me. Thank you so much for the donation."
Oh, Mr. Scott, Men at Work. My sister and I love that movie. That movie, I know it's cheese and it's bad, but that was one of those movies that my sister and I watched when we were kids, and we laughed so hard. We have a really, really deep sentimental connection to that movie. But yeah, Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen. It's one of the few movies where they actually were in the same movie together. They usually don't act together.
Nope, that and Young Guns.
Yep, that was about it. Yeah.
And
speaking of Young Guns, by the way, yeah,
Charlie dies off quick in Young Guns.
Yep, that's true. Tremors is one of this is Adonis Bartoli. Tremors is one of those. It's a perfect monster movie, absolutely perfect monster movie. It's still great even today, and there's nothing really about it that dates it. The only weak spot in that whole movie, and I'll never understand why they did it. All the effects of the monsters are essentially practical. There are about 2 moments in there where they're obviously not. But the one glaring one is, and I won't give away too much, but people are in a basement and it breaks through the wall, and it is bad, like composite shot, blue screen, stop motion model or whatever. And it was just everything else looked like it could be in the same shot, like with the actors. Mm-hmm. That one scene was so blatantly not. And it takes you out of it just long enough and doesn't ruin the whole movie, but it's like, of all the things, if they just not done that or found a different way to do it, it would have been perfect.
No One Nowhere says, okay, Weekend at Bernie's. The best thing about Weekend at Bernie's, which by the way, I like the movie, is the fact that they made a Weekend at Bernie's 2 and continued the joke for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's is just silly fun. Again, 80s kind of comedy thing.
Red Dirt
technically, I think it's actually a 90s movie, though. Early 90s.
Yes. I think it was 92, 91.
Yeah. It follows the old premise of 80s movies of how fucking ridiculous can we be and get away with.
Yeah.
And it was silly and fun. It's not like great cinema, that's for sure. But it's fun.
What about Gotcha? Gotcha.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. So we're getting Revenge of the Nerds too, by the way.
Yes, Revenge of the Nerds. This is before he became the doctor on ER and was suddenly a real actor.
Red Dirt Runner says Master and Commander: Far Side of the World. That's an underrated movie. You don't hear that much about that movie. Russell Crowe, really good. There's a couple other people who I'm forgetting all of a sudden. I think what's his name who plays the Vision, who I'm suddenly forgetting. Jennifer Connelly's husband, by the way. Anyway.
Cameron, thank you. Kick him in the nards. Wolfmen don't have nards.
Yeah, Monster Squad. Monster Squad's great. Monster Squad's great.
Driving Miss Daisy.
I mean, if you want to watch something with your mom.
Ouch, he boomered you nuts.
Captain Bramble's Miracle Mile. Speaking of Anthony Edwards. Miracle Mile is a great little movie. I can't say too much about it. Don't want to give it away, but if you can find it, that's a great little flick.
How you doing, AP? Hope you're well.
All right, we've done an hour of talking about movies. Shall we move on to something else or keep going?
Well, we can. We should probably do our usual part real quick. Oscar hashtag fight me. Thank you, Pincalo. Oscar, Sylvester Stallone is a mobster, right?
Yes, Oscar, and then of course his name isn't Oscar. The character Oscar is talked about, but not seen for most of the movie. It's a goofy. sort of upstairs, downstairs comedy kind of thing, it's a very acquired taste. It's not bad per se. It's just so far outside of Stallone's usual stuff that it was very hard to digest at the time. That's all.
Just real quick, Scribbles, what have you been working on YouTube?
Truth be told, not much. Work has been very, very busy. I've got a couple of things set aside that I will probably do a live stream on this weekend. I've got a little tutorial that tells you how to properly speak to people so you don't offend them. And then I have a TEDx. Well, there's a couple of TEDx's I'm looking at. One is about how to defeat poverty. And the guy starts out in the first 5 minutes and says some very interesting things. But I'm also looking at, I've got something I set aside a long time ago, dismantling mass incarceration through restorative justice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, restorative justice is something that I've touched upon a couple of times in other videos. It's a very weird concept to me. The only issue is that the presentation is an hour long. And, when I get to going on something, I can stretch out an hour into like a 3-hour stream. So I'm always wary of that. I try to find things that are at most about 15, 20 minutes long at worst.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure about that one. I'll think about it. But I've got several things that I might do live streams on. And guys, I'm sorry I haven't done any scripted stuff lately. I've just been so distracted by work stuff and life stuff and a little bit of burnout. I've talked about that before. And if you've gone over to my non-author dark stream, you will also see some of my recent ramble. I've talked about that a little bit. So, but people are still subscribing to my channel. I really do appreciate that. I hope you guys like my stuff. I've got tons of libraries of stuff. If you guys haven't looked at my playlists yet, they're right there on the homepage. I called it some of my best work, as I call it. And I think you might get a kick out of some of those. So take a look. But otherwise, I got nothing going on elsewise. How about you, Monkey? What have you been working on?
Oh, I did a Monkey in the Morning where I pissed a whole bunch of people off.
Yeah.
And then we did the after party, but I also did a 5-hour game stream last night over on Ranting Monkey Games. I was just having fun with the game. I have so much fun with 7 Days to Die when I play it that I lose all track of time. And I hope I did a good job of keeping my part of it going where I'm just talking. It's not easy to talk for 2 hours straight.
It's true. That's why I usually want to have at least one partner or someone else there to alleviate the strain.
I think I do a decent job at it most of the time. 5 hours. I know there was a little part where I was building, and if you guys have ever seen me play 7 Days to Die over on Satsu stream, or know I've been there. When I get into building mode, Monkey goes quiet because I'm planning and like, okay, this here is and I don't do it out loud, and I'm trying to maintain my. Hopefully, I did a good job. So there was 5 hours of that you guys can catch up on. I'll be doing that again tonight. Maybe not 5 hours worth, because excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. About an hour before the show, I just got this wave of. It actually makes my bones hurt, Scribe.
Mm.
And it just it all just started happening again. Like, fuck. So we'll see how long I can go, or at least try to get to my 2 hours that I want. But otherwise, nothing there.
Okay. I've got fucketry, or are we on?
Yeah, we should touch on a little bit of fucketry because I have some fun ones today that I enjoyed.
Okay, I've only got a couple here.
And then we'll just talk with the audience after that if you're cool with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, you can't avoid coronavirus, obviously, so I will read a couple here. First one, Jonathan Chang, a columnist at the Washington Post, said today, quote, "It's ironic, but because China was the first country to deal with coronavirus, it is now ahead of most of the world in terms of containment. We don't even have a plan for today, while Beijing already has a plan for tomorrow." And I said, isn't it ironic, don't you think? It's like suppressing an outbreak alert for several months. It's like slow medical advice just to save face. It's almost like pride goeth before the fall. And who would have thought they're ahead? Because let's praise China, guys. Just, China's so impressive.
In chat, real quick, Virgil says, "You think out loud when you build way, way, way more than you think." No, I'm forcing myself to do that way, way, way more than you think. I'm glad it comes off natural sounding. Anyway, go ahead, Scribbles. I'm sorry.
So this morning, literally when I woke up, when I wake up in the morning, I got a little my little tablet thing, and I check my email and everything. Just to make sure I hadn't missed anything overnight. And there was a little alert of, CNN news, and I click on it. The first thing I see this morning is CNN is this headline: the WHO and the CDC never discussed providing international test kits to the United States.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And so I start reading the article, and I just skimmed through because I just woke up, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I got to make sure of this. So I got dressed, went to work. When I got to work, I read the article again, and I was like, I can't believe it. And here's what I said in response. 4 points to this. Point number 1, Biden claims White House rejected WHO's offered test kits. He did that in the Sanders debate.
Lots of people have been saying that for a while now, yeah.
Point number 2, CNN publishes story that never happened. Point number 3, this information has been available for months. Only makes sense to publish it now as a reaction to Biden's lie. Point number 4, CNN never mentions Biden in its story. The facts that they present are information that comes from what was known in January and in February about what was going on. And classically speaking, when something like this happens, the WHO doesn't provide the CDC test kits or anything like that for newfound diseases or stuff like that. They exchange information, but they leave it to the CDC and other independent agencies around the world to manage their own stuff unless otherwise asked for. So the WHO didn't offer any, the CDC didn't ask for any, nothing was rejected because nothing was offered. And yet, like I say, the only reason you put, and that was their top story this morning. That was the number 1 story. And I said, the only reason you put that up there right now is in reaction to what Biden said the other day. But in nowhere do they mention Biden, the debate, or anything else. It's almost like they're saying it's an apology. They're giving Biden cover by showing that he lied, but they don't mention him. And yet somewhere on the story, they still find a way to criticize Trump and the administration's response to it, even though they're disproving something that they're accusing Trump of all this time. It's the most bizarre thing I saw this morning. Now, maybe they've edited it since then to add a mention of Biden. I don't know. I don't really care. All I know is their first copy of it. It was so strange to me when I woke up this morning. I just had to mention that.
I'm glad you did, because that's an interesting thing. Because yeah, this idea that the WHO offered us test kits, that is a lie that's been going around for a long time, if that's indeed a lie.
Yeah. And
that has been all over the internet.
Yeah, they went chapter and verse down all the facts in the chain of events and the chronology of things. And yeah, at no point was that the case. Now, did the CDC produce tests as efficiently as they could have, or did they? That's a completely separate thing. And they bring that up in the article. Like, well, but when the CDC did this, they didn't do it as efficiently as they could have, or they made mistakes and everything else. I'm like, but whoa, that's not the headline here. The headline here is you're disproving something Biden said unequivocally in the debate, but you're not fact-checking Biden. And in fact, I thought about this. Every time there was a debate or some presentation with Trump or otherwise, there was always a fact-check response by CNN.
Yep.
Did we see any? I mean, and maybe there is. If I missed it, there you go. But was there a fact-check response for the last couple of debates about Biden, especially, and or Sanders? I don't recall.
There was one.
But by CNN, I should say, by CNN. And I know there have been others.
No,
other people said, did he have anything to do with the Paris Climate Accord? Like, no, he didn't, et cetera. But
usually when I go looking for the fact checks, I always go to CNN to see if it's the same people.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that one chick, I forget her name, but I notice it when I see it. I'm like, oh, it's her. She's the yeah, but lady when it comes to fact checking Trump.
Right.
I didn't look in the last 2 debates, or I didn't even think about it because it was just like, this is, nonsense.
The last one I've got, and Monkey and I talked about this a bit at length on his after party stream earlier today. So I don't necessarily want to go through this whole again, but just because it was interesting to me. The New York Times posted this today. Joe Biden's winning streak has given him a lead that will be nearly impossible for Bernie Sanders to overcome. Our political correspondent Alex Burns explains how he pulled it off. And my response to that was, pulled it off. He's got the most name recognition on Obama's coattails, and the Democratic establishment is too scared of Bernie bros becoming the dominant voice in the party. He is the devil you know candidate. Biden didn't do or say anything remarkable. He's the shrug, I guess we'll make it Biden kind of thing. There's no enthusiasm for the guy. He's not got some grand vision. I don't even know if he's for anything in particular that isn't just boilerplate mainstream Democratic thinking. So, yeah, the whole thing is just weird. Oh, I forgot one. Sorry. This happened just before the stream. Joe Biden he tweeted this out. I give you my word as a Biden. When I'm president, I will lead with science, listen to the experts and heed their advice, and always tell you the truth.
So he's not now?
My response was, quote, your word as a Biden? So we're just to ignore your past plagiarism, your most recent outright lies, and the tendency of your son to cheat on his significant others and take money for jobs he's not qualified for? Got it. Your word as a Biden, like somehow your family name is a shining beacon on a hill of sincerity and integrity. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Come on. Anyway, I'm done.
I'm going to start with this because like I said, I wasn't on the Twitter very much yesterday. I was annoyed by it. I wasn't really on it that much today until like the last 2 hours before the show, maybe. And then I was just going hog wild. I was having a lot of fun trying to keep myself distracted. This one comes from yesterday where Lindsey Graham was quoted by The Hill in a tweet saying, my focus is not giving people a check from the government. My focus is to make sure you get your paycheck from your employer. Fair enough, right?
Yep, fair enough.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted this out. Lindsey Graham has received a paycheck from the government every month since 1995. I want to read to you what he said again. My focus is to make sure you get a paycheck from your employer. You know who employs Lindsey Graham?
Satan?
The government.
Oh.
He's been getting a check from his employer, you stupid bitch.
No.
She thought she had a gotcha there, man. Oh, gotcha. You get a check from the government. Yes, for a job that he's been elected to. Same as you do, you silly cunt. There's a difference between giving people money and that being payment for your job. Now, you can think they're overpaid. You can think that he should be out of office. Any of these things, that's fine. But your gotcha doesn't work there when you're literally just pointing out he's being paid by his employer. You silly, silly bitch. Oh, Chank. He had a couple today. He tweeted out, stop pretending Bernie supporters are going to vote for Trump. Also, this is typical escape hatch establishment has. I'm reading it as written. Number one, we warn that voters don't like establishment candidates. 2, we're proven right. 3, instead of acknowledging that, they say it was our fault for pointing it out. No, you're missing the major point here, Chank. The major point is, yeah, I would agree with you. Most people don't like Biden as their candidate. I haven't seen any. We talked about this earlier, Scribe. I haven't seen anybody excited about his candidacy.
Yeah.
But they still like him more than Bernie.
Yes.
Some think he has dementia. They're like, you know what? I'm going to take the guy with dementia over this fucking fruity commie. That's how bad your candidate is. I also want to go on record on the show here in saying that I think Bernie Sanders would have won this election if he had not endorsed Cenk.
What?
I'm blaming Cenk for Bernie losing.
Okay, now I assume you're being facetious.
How dare you, sir?
Easily.
How dare you?
Do you know me?
Apparently you know me too well.
Yeah.
This was an interesting.
No, Bernie should have taken Chink on as his running mate.
He should.
Yeah. He's got nothing to lose now. Might as
fills
well.
up that woman requirement that Biden's doing. We'll come back to Chink in a minute. Jack tweeted out a story today. TikTok has admitted, and I want you to guess why, Scribbles. TikTok has admitted that they were. Let me get the exact one here. That they it's not. They changed this. Oh, there it is. That they had suppressed videos by disabled people, by queer people, and by fat people. That they had discouraged people from watching them. They'd hit them in their algorithm. Can you guess why?
Because they're not as attractive a content as like jiggly girls or something.
Now, you and me agree on that, but that's not their official reason.
They didn't want to feel like they were exploiting people's disabilities. No. Okay.
They did not want these people to be bullied.
So the people they are allowing on TikTok never get bullied?
They thought that fat people, disabled people, and queer people would get bullied. Bullshit. Bullshit. You did it because big titty blondes get people to your site where people who look like Ricky on Twitter don't. I forget Ricky's last name. You guys know the crippled dude.
Ricky Berman, I think it is.
Yeah, whatever. Everybody knows Ricky.
Yeah.
You just got to say Ricky. Yeah, that's not going to get a whole bunch of people coming to your site to be like, yeah, I'm going to jack off to this. You did it because you big titties sell. Stop it, you liars.
Yeah, and you know what that is though? That's called discrimination on the basis that's fat shaming, that's ableism. Boy, you guys are going to be real popular amongst certain crowds at this point. Tell you what.
Well, SDA got a little snippy because it literally says in there that they stopped doing that. Like, yeah, it does. It does literally say in there. You know what it says? Some time ago. Yeah. Doesn't give us a time frame. They don't tell us when. Berwick. Thank you guys. Ricky Berwick.
Oh, Berwick. Sorry, Berman. Anyway, my bad.
But yeah, Ricky's funny. I can't look at him though. He is funny though. Sorry, he's freaky looking. Yeah, they don't tell us when. They didn't give us no days. Not like 30 days ago we stopped doing this. I know, look, we did. Trust us. So if you're a fat crippled lesbian, now you can make it on TikTok.
Well, I guess it was the anti-Tumblr then for a while.
Apparently it was. Devil's Advocate says so yesterday. Yeah, exactly.
Right. We were caught and we did a while back. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we were just trying to protect these people. Stop trying to protect people. They were putting themselves out there, you dumb motherfucker.
It's sort of like finding out that some companies had a data breach, but they found out about it like 7 months ago, but only now are they saying something.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's like, yeah, somebody in our company probably leaked it yesterday when they found out about it, and now we have to own up to it. And we totally turned that off.
Yeah, and I don't for a minute believe that they did it for bullying reasons. It was all marketing, in my opinion. Cenk tweeted this out, and I've been told that this was actually written by somebody else, but this is not in quotes. This is written as his tweet.
Okay.
My wife is from Taiwan, so my kids are half. Sorry. I have to laugh at this part because this makes no sense.
So this is Cenk talking?
This is Cenk.
Okay.
My wife is from Taiwan, so my kids are half Chinese. Because of racist assholes like John Cornyn and the real Donald Trump, their classmates are blaming them for the virus and asking if they eat bats. My 9-year-old son even came home and asked if it was true. It's heartbreaking. Your 9-year-old son came home and asked you if he eats bats. And if your wife is half, if your wife is from Taiwan, your children should be half Taiwanese, not half Chinese.
Well, China wants Taiwan back, obviously. So, you know.
If your kids are half Chinese, as somebody pointed out on the internet, that means you're not the father, Cenk. Just throwing that out there. But redheaded libertarian, she had my favorite response to his tweet. I totally relate. My husband is from Texas, so my kids are half Texas. Their classmates are already blaming them for the Dallas Cowboys and asking if they eat chicken fried steak. My 4-year-old daughter even came home from her closed preschool and asked if it was true.
Oh,
Heartbreaking.
my God.
Well played, madam. Well played indeed.
Nice.
There's plenty more to go on. I just want to do one more real quick. Nathan McDermott. Sorry.
Nathan.
I don't know who this blue check mark piece of shit is.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Who is he? He's a reporter covering politics for CNN's K-File. That makes sense.
K-File. Oh my God, the K-File.
That makes sense why he's a dirty little shit. Anyway, he told us today that Donald Trump just started calling it Chinese virus 2 days ago. There must be some reason. And I helped him out. I don't know if he paid attention to my tweet, but it is because Donald Trump became racist against the Chinese 2 days ago.
Right. It just kind of happened.
It's entirely not because China's trying to blame this virus on us, even though our president had been calling it coronavirus all along and not actually blaming it anywhere. Just pointing out that, there's an origin spot. But then they came back with, no, the U.S. military members brought that shit to Wuhan. Did they? He's been pushing back with the Chinese thing, and it's kind of funny. But this guy, there must be some reason. Wow, I wonder if we can puzzle that out, genius. But anyway, no Satsu for shame. No, by the way, Scribbles, I tossed into the side chat.
Sorry, I missed it.
What happened with him? Yeah, I did it a long time ago, and I forgot to tell you.
Okay. I rarely look at that because I don't. Yeah, sorry. Different tab, different window. I'll take a look.
And it's also, even if you do watch this the whole time, it's so easy to miss that over there on the side.
It is. It really is.
Hey, Junko, how you doing, man? Guys, your time. Questions, comments, concerns. If you want to get back to movies, we can do that too. If you want to talk about other things, because there's other things. You know what I thought people could do, Scribbles? Because they have all this free time now.
Yes.
Learn to do something.
Take up a new hobby.
Go to your YouTube. There's anything you want to know how to do is on YouTube. Well, maybe not anything. They might not teach you how to get to the G spot.
You can go over to my alternate channel, and I teach you how to make a homemade little cane for kinky stuff.
There you go.
You kind of have to go to a hardware store to buy some of the equipment, though. So yeah, it might not be the best.
Satsu teaches you how to make foods.
That's true. Yeah, learn how to cook.
There's all kinds of shit you can do. Learn to impress your friends when you're allowed to have them over again with a well-cooked Satsu meal.
Yeah, Monkey teaches you how not to read. It's great.
Indeed. Humble Clay says play the guitar. I have literally hundreds of hours of Monkey in the Morning. We've got to be over 1,000 hours, well over 1,000 hours of Lords of the Night you can listen to.
God. Yeah, two hours a night times 3 years. Yeah.
Learn a new skill. Always wanted the time. Now you have it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So get out there. There's so many people. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't understand people like that.
Well, if I get locked down at home, I tell you what, I will have a lot more extra bandwidth to write. That's for sure.
Well, you know what I do wonder about that? When I was a kid, there were many times my mother used this exact phrase: "Get out of my house. Go find something to do. Go play." And these days, it seems that is not exactly how you're supposed to raise children. You have to keep them entertained at all times.
It's changed now because it doesn't seem as safe to let your kids go off on their own anymore. So you're responsible. You have to keep them close. You have to coddle them, and consequently, you're responsible for keeping them. Yeah, like you say, entertained. They can't go entertain themselves or go play or use their imaginations or anything because people have had the police called on them for neglect for letting their kids go out by themselves.
Well, even inside the house, give them a fucking box of Legos and tell them to go to town while you go watch TV and clean the dining room or whatever.
Well, these days you see 3-year-olds walking around with smartphones watching Netflix cartoons, and it's just
yeah, I feel like people don't know how to entertain themselves.
Yeah, or
I am rarely bored.
Or find something to do that isn't digital in nature.
You guys will hear me say, "I'm bored, so I did this." Not "I'm bored, so I sat there complaining about how fucking bored I was for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Find something to do, man. Yeah, we had to, like, because Mom, like, get out of my house. Like, but Mom, I live here. It's raining. There's
Do you pay
boogeymen out
rent?
there.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Drunkle, my friend, how are you?
Oh, am I the token white guy now?
You are indeed. We were
Jeez,
one short.
Thank you for the invite, Monkey. How you doing, Scribe?
I'm fine, Drunkle. How are you?
Last I saw you was the old Dem debates, or what's left of them.
Yep.
A lot's happened since then, buddy. How you feeling about the upcoming shit? I mean, what's next? You got another debate next, or is it straight? It's not going to be straight to a vote, is it?
That's up to Bernie. If Bernie doesn't drop out of the race, there'll probably be another debate. If he does drop out, then it's pretty much clear sailing for Biden until you get to the convention. When's the convention? July?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Scribbles, how many videos do you have on BDSM?
Over on my other channel, there's like 5 or 6, something like that. I talk about different
real questions.
Yeah, I talk about different subjects. I go through certain things that I take cues from the book I'm always quoting at the end of the night for the secret word.
Whoa.
There's a lot of advice on there. So, and
what advice is there when it comes to BDSM?
Before you get to that, the reason I asked is because Jordan wanted to know. So about 5 or 6, check them out on Non-Author Dark. There you go.
Yeah, NONAUTHOR. That's all one word. Dark.
Yeah.
And I have my most recent videos on there aren't at all having to do with BDSM. I've kind of treated it lately as my sort of non-main channel subject matter channel, but the first several videos that I did on there were discussions or advice bits and pieces about my experiences with BDSM and power dynamics and things like that.
So, like, was this book written by a famous sex slave, or what?
No, this is the book is called Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, The Romance and Sexual Sorcery of Sadomasochism. And
that makes it sound like a D&D book.
That's
a little bit.
Great title.
Isn't it?
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's one of the, it's sort of like the mass, I mean, such as it is, the mass market sort of overall giant Bible of advice on what to do, how to safely perform certain things, explore different things. It's like an all-encompassing guidebebook.
Does it have
it's how to beat women safely.
What?
So is that what
it's how to beat women safely. Real quick, I got to address this in chat, and I'm sorry, Drunk. I'll let you talk in just a second. Several people are asking about Satsu. Satsu is fine, you guys. I just don't know if his reason he wants it told, so I'm not telling. He's not in danger. Nobody's hurt in their family or everything. Everybody's good over there. He's just took a second night off. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Drunkle.
No, that's fine. I mean, I would say best, get well soon to Satsu if there were anything wrong. You guys do this show like fucking 6 nights a week. I think you're allowed a couple of nights off now and again.
Yeah, we've been taking a breather here and there, each one of us now and then lately, just for
I think you have to, though, don't you? I mean,
occasionally.
It's nice that whenever anyone takes a break, that there are the people in the chat, especially the hardcore viewers who are there fucking every show, who go, "Dude, is this guy okay?"
Right.
And I mean that's nice because you're looking out for him, but at the same time, you gotta have a day off.
Yeah,
holy shit! You
break up the routine a little bit. Nothing.
Not me. What else am I gonna do?
Well, you've taken the night off before.
I was going to say you come back fresh, but there's no chance of you doing that either.
Well, I've taken more nights off in the last 2 months than I've taken off in the last 3 years combined.
Yeah, I know, and I think between the three of us, we have been relaxing ourselves a little bit. Like we don't have to do it every day if we are tired or got other things. We can take a night. This. Yeah. Anyway,
if I wasn't sick those nights, I would have been here, and I was really fucked up those nights.
But there's still that thing on the back of your mind as well, just going like, "Oh man, people are waiting." Yeah, I get it. Look, I totally get it.
Even in those cases, Drunkle, if I hadn't have passed out, I would have been here still.
Yeah, I always feel first. I always feel first and foremost that I have an obligation, hell or high water, to show up. But occasionally, just like, I just need a break from the routine for a night, that kind of thing.
I get that. And that is one of my favorite things about you, Scribe, is your sense of duty.
Okay.
Yeah, not sarcastic either. I mean, I was going to say duty, like an American accent. I'm glad I didn't know.
Duty. Allison Duty.
You just go, duty. Fucking it. Come on,
Duty.
man. Come on. Right.
I'm not German. I'm not German, I swear.
Are we sure? Are we sure? No,
Midnight in Exile says...
You'd be Scribe Lichten, wouldn't you?
God damn it. He says he met the woman who wrote that book, Scribbles.
Oh, Molly Devon? Interesting. Okay.
So she looks like...
That's what I was going to ask.
Mom. I'm just going to talk over you, damn it.
That's all right. Sorry, I'm going to do that to you, mate.
I know you will. That's why I love you.
That's why I love you, buddy. You're my best. You're a good friend. You're a good friend. Are there like safety precautions in this book as well?
Yes. I mean,
that's good. All right.
One thing always to be aware of: always have a glass of water around because dehydration is rampant in such activities.
Jeez, wow, that got a lot more in depth than I thought. Dehydration? Holy shit!
Well,
and plenty of plasma.
And also the other thing too, and one of the things
you wouldn't have thought they'd be lacking in fluids at that point.
Here's one free piece of advice that's very important, no matter what you're doing. If you are doing any kind of activity where you're using percussion on someone's rear end, let's say,
right,
as the
smacking
person
that ass, you guys,
shush,
within rhythm,
shush,
within rhythm.
You were saying
it is important that you put your hand at the base of someone's spine to ensure that you do not strike the spine, else you could cause nerve damage. So that'll keep you from hitting your hand and thus their sensitive area. And unless you're very practiced, always put your hand there.
You know what I just realized?
One of those professional spankers.
When Drunkle's on the stream, I feel like Scribe needs a safe word.
Oh, you just blown the lid off of this thing. For all this time, I thought I was annoying him, but now I've just considered it might be sexual.
Yes, well, wouldn't that be something if it were?
But it's sadomasochistic streaming.
Yeah, fan fiction is a thing, I suppose.
I'll be the S, you be the M. We could do this.
Oof, God. Alyssa said this is a side of you she didn't know, Scribe. He's talked about this quite a bit, but it's not something we talk about very often.
I agree. When I first heard, go on, buddy, go on.
No, never mind. I'll just wait.
Safe word.
You know, someone says something to me about me, and I'll just wait for you to respond.
I'm just going to point out the fact you said no, it doesn't matter. You go on, and then you spoke over me. Like, who's the real dick here? You know,
I learned it by watching you.
Well, I mean, I use an avatar, so it's up to you, mate. What was the fucking... Yeah, this was something that really surprised me as well, because, I mean, I've known you for a little bit doing Lords of the Night and everything, but then it came out, I asked you why you were the Lord of... it's not pain... Bondage? Punishment. Of course, Monkey is the Lord of Pain because you're constantly in pain. And you told me about this whole fucking S&M background. You even said, like, when you were in university, you were the head of the fucking BDSM... community, a club, and I didn't think there were, of all the things that need a club, obviously a club for hitting people, but I didn't think, like, surely they just find each other. It just blew my fucking mind, and I started thinking, who do people just gather for things, and you don't know what's going on? You see a group of people and go, that looks nice, they're having a great time. No, they're discussing whipping each other. It's fucking I wouldn't say disgusting. It's up to you, Scribe, but I was really surprised is what I'm saying.
Yes, most people are surprised, even in real life, to find out that I was president of the Bondage Club.
I mean, not just in the Bondage Club, but president of the Bondage
Technically, didn't you also start at Scribbles?
So the very short version is there was an informal group on campus that I found out about, and I attended a meeting, and it just happened to be the one where the lady who was arranging the thing said that she wanted to try to form it into an official club with the school, but because of class obligations and things, she wouldn't have the time to actually run it. And would anybody be able to do that? And I was the only one there, and it was my first time meeting these people, and I was just like, sure. And so sort of by accidental default, I ended up being the one to file all the paperwork and go through all the motions and get the votes and all that stuff and officiate the club, and I became the president.
Why? Honestly, how does that have any place on the college campus?
Well, it's a niche interest kind of thing, and a lot of the clubs on campus are about.
Thank
weird
you for
things.
saying niche. And
Yeah,
not
well,
niche. Thank you.
There was a beer brewers society club and just a special interest kind of thing. And honestly, without something like that, a lot of the people that ended up coming to the club would not have had a place to talk about. Part of we kind of joked about ourselves. It was as much a discussion group as it was a support group, because a lot of people came in thinking there was something wrong with them. Like, my mother, I remember one person that came in and said, my mother used to beat me with a brush as a punishment.
Oh, no.
And as I've grown up, I've actually found out that it excites me, and I think something's wrong with me.
No.
It is bizarre, but it's not necessarily uncommon. And so we'd have, we kind of helped some people come to terms with things, that it's not wrong to feel good about something, even if it's weird. You just have to have it in the right context and that kind of thing. So there were different aspects to it that were beyond just talking about dirty stuff and things.
When you explain it like that, that makes a lot more sense. I got to admit, when you explain it, it's changed from my initial thought of just like, wow, it's just people coming together masturbating in a room.
That did not happen on college campus.
Just butt percussion.
Well, it's not
everywhere.
very BDSM.
Yes.
Nothing but butt bongos for days.
That makes a lot more sense. I mean, geez, I never even thought the fact that someone who got spanked by their parents would then find it exciting. That just, oh no.
I had the opposite reaction. I was spanked a lot, and do not touch my ass ever.
Yeah.
See, this guy gets it.
Ever.
I know. I know you've told me over 3 times now. The first 2 were warnings. The second one, he poked me in the eye.
Yeah, you don't touch my ass. It's just, Lady Monkey does it occasionally to be funny. She thinks it's the funniest thing ever. And we might start BDSM the next time she does it.
Yeah, unintentional BDSM.
Like, what? I thought she was supposed to have a black eye. No.
Whoa!
I would never punch my wife in the eye. You go for the ribs so you don't leave a bruise.
That's the boy. That's the boy. That's really wholesome, though, actually. That I never thought. Like a BDSM community would be so opening to people who actually thought there was something wrong with them. Never thought about that. You've blown my mind.
Well, as long as that's all I blew.
That's a different club.
Well, I'm a lot more on board with it now, mate, on the college campus. You never know. Next video I do, I might be wearing a leather corset. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
This went somewhere dark.
Well, I mean, it's leather, isn't it? It's going to be dark.
Well, you could use like the cowboy look.
I'm not made of fucking money.
How come that stuff is never the cowboy look? Why is it always black leather?
Cheaper.
It's more common, I guess. I mean, there are chaps out. I guess it depends on what your kink is. Some people like cowboys and being lassoed or whatever.
Wow.
Or saddled.
Oh shit! No, actually, you're right. Yeah, because the first 2 seasons of Westworld did funny things to me, man.
I still haven't watched Westworld.
Dude.
First season's really good. Second season's pretty weak. Third season just started coming out, so who knows?
It's a weird one. It's going to take some time to get into, I think, season 3.
Yeah.
But, I mean, first season, like, you had that whole fucking fantasy thing of doing what you want, and then you had Maeve, the madam, in the fucking whorehouse, and the women were just dressed up in these beautiful dresses. That's what really did it for me. Just like these fucking... They were dolled right up, man. Absolutely loved it. But try as you might, no Wild West porn out there.
Weird with all the reverse cowgirl going on.
That's not what I want, though. I don't want them wearing the hat. I want to be wearing the hat. They're wearing the madam in the fucking whorehouse dress. That's what I'm after.
No. Have you ever seen The Last Boy Scout?
Sorry, you're going to be wearing the woman's dress, and she's
No, I'm going to be naked.
cowboy.
Have you seen The Last Boy Scout?
All right, if we're talking sex and it's got the word Boy Scout in it, I'm just going, mate.
Scribe, you know what I'm getting at?
You're going to have to remind me where...
Halle Berry.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's right. The cowboy.
In her strip tees. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And the chaps and everything. Yeah.
Oh, with the little hat. Oh, yeah, she was gorgeous.
That's right.
I see. I the whole fucking the big buxom fucking dresses that they wore and everything. I find way more attractive than a girl dressed up as a cowboy.
Thank you, Sanguine, who says not all leather is dark like European human leather is really pale, just like pig leather.
I was saying
Yeah.
it's cheaper. It takes less tanning. If it's darker, less tanning.
I just have a problem with human leather.
I do not. You should see my lampshades.
All right,
That's
Buffalo
just a
Bill.
Saturday night.
See my raincoat, buddy.
Oh my god. Guys, remember, it is question and comment time. Oh Lords, what are your thoughts on the Earn It Act passing, or Congress is trying to pass right now? You'd have to remind me what it is.
Yeah.
And yes, Jeremy, Halle Berry and Swordfish, we get to see her little titties, and it's nice, but it's not as nice as her in The Last Boy
I
Scout.
think that is where the entire film's budget went on, was Halle Berry's tits.
Yep.
Because the rest of it was shit.
Yeah. Hugh Jackman getting like a hacker. Hugh Jackman. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't seem right, does it? Like
Yeah.
a famously brawny character is now a fucking techie. Don't seem right. Don't seem right.
Huge jacked man is not a hacker. Sorry.
Now,
Go on. It's your show. Go on. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find a good picture from Halle Berry from that, and all I found was this GIF, which now I'm distracted by.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, I have problems.
Yeah, you do.
She does a little butt percussion.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can hear you clicking. At least I hope that's the clicking I can hear.
Yeah, it's
Mr.
totally my
Scott.
computer.
Of course. Mr. Scott says, Drunken Uncle, did your mum beat you with a pineapple? No. My mum didn't even turn up to my own birth, mate. No one?
Oh, dear God.
For fuck's sake.
Why did the pig leather... Okay, didn't do it this time. Set off my GOGLE thing. I don't know. It did mine too when I read Sanguine's message there. His Streamlabs. It set off my voice thing for my phone. I'm not sure why. I feel like the FBI is involved.
That's bizarre.
I feel that way as well.
Drunkle, did your mom beat you with a pineapple?
No, my mum didn't even turn up to my own birth.
Wow, that was deja vu.
I was watching Halle Berry shake her ass.
I'm a Russian
got
bot.
you.
I'm a Russian bot. I just did do what I'm told. Well, within reason, Scribe.
Yeah,
I
hadn't gotten my hopes up. Don't worry.
If we're still in question, I mean, come on, let's not lie to each other. Are you still into the fucking bondage?
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, I say that like someone gets out of it. Do people get out of it? Do people just grow out of it in the end?
It depends on who you are. I mean, it's like anything else, I suppose. But it's kind of the dynamic of it is kind of part of my personality. That's all. And I explain that a bit more on my other channel.
Cryptic, thank you. Says I told a communist joke. Nobody laughed. They said it didn't work.
Hey!
Thank you for the donation.
Hey!
Sean asks, in your movie stuff, how could you forget The Boy Who Could Fly? The cute girl from The Great Outdoors was in it, and a young Fred Savage. I didn't like The Boy Who Could Fly.
The Boy Who Could Fly is one of those movies that has a sort of sentimental value to, like, my sister and I used to watch movies when we were kids together all the time. So a lot of movies are sort of greater in my mind because of the connection between she and I. But yeah, not a great movie, but a memorable one.
I completely understand that.
Over on the Streamlabs, thank you, Sanguine, again, who says, nah, Drunkle, it's more expensive to dye pigs and people leather dark, and both have made some beautiful book bindings. Just cowhide, they're more often used, but just as easily tanned.
It's nice to meet a fellow RimWorld player. Thank you for that.
I love me
Dude, I've been playing an ungodly since my the laptop I keep in my living room has astoundingly come back to life. I've been playing so much RimWorld. I got a mod, right? The Highlander mod where you can be born immortal. And if you cut the head off of another immortal, then you power up. Oh, mate, it's amazing. On top of that, you got evolved organs where you've got 4 fucking arm slots and you can end up running around like a spider. It's mental.
So, wow. I'll have to check that out. Alyssa asks, Scribe Light, is stop a safe word? I don't know if you answered. My internet sucks, so I just got back. Might not be able to catch up. Do you use stop as a safe word?
It's not wise
No.
to use words that are just common parlance as safe words. Something that is going to take the dominant out of the moment because it's so bizarre, and something that is indistinguishable from play, let's say. So you want something that is, I mean, the classic ones are red or yellow. Like yellow is you're pushing it a little too far, and red is like stop everything at once.
Oh,
You can get
banana.
more creative with, you can get more creative with your partner or something that's going to like break the immersion that is indistinguishable, that cannot be mistaken for anything other than this is outside of the dynamic and things need to cool down. That's my advice.
But then that's also really nice as well, because it's something that you as a couple share together. You know, you got that one word that means something to you. That's kind of BDSM romantic.
Well, depending on the relationship, it can be like an inside joke kind of thing too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I mean that I consider humor between couples to be quite romantic as well. I mean, it's one thing to be attracted and passionate to each other, but it's quite another thing to be silly with each other. You know.
Check your logic.
That's a proper relationship.
Yeah, so why is it racist to say Chinese virus, but not racist for Chinese officials to start a conspiracy theory to blame it on American army? You'd have to ask people who say that it's racist to call it the Chinese virus. I don't think it's racist to say that. It's where it came from. Mr. Scott go ahead.
No, there wasn't a lot behind it. I mean, the Spanish flu didn't actually come from Spain, but it rose to prominence in Spain, and we don't know where the Wu flu came from, but it rose to prominence in China.
We know.
It seems absolutely perfectly fine to say the same thing. If it were a white virus, we'd be arguing the same fucking point right here.
Thank you, Cody Fry, who says Drunkle's at it again with the weird fetishes.
I'm strikingly vanilla. Fucking Scribe, you remember when I took that fucking BDSM
You're not
test,
fucking Scribe. You're not fucking Scribe. I don't know what the hell's in your mind. You're not fucking Scribe.
No, I said you, Scribe.
That's not what you said.
You. When I said Scribe, I was referring to you, which is what normally happens when it comes to the verbal communication. Scribe, I took that fucking BDSM test way back when. You remember, it came back fucking vanilla. I'm just into the straight and Susie. But if anyone's into weird shit, then, you know, I just like to be a good host.
Yeah, I just want to lay down, put it in, wiggle a little bit, and then go have breakfast.
I know you do, mate. You barely even wiggle some of the times, do you?
It hurts to wiggle, damn it.
Put it in, fall asleep, and then you're hungry.
I have to turn on a comedy so I laugh and I move a little bit.
Whereas she was laughing anyway.
Have you seen Von Ryan's Express with Frank Sinatra? No.
Is that like Van Wilder's Party Liaison?
Long time ago I did, yes.
Oh, geez, you did. All right.
Never even heard of it until tonight.
What is it?
It's a movie.
What? How'd you know of it then if you didn't? Hang on, what the fuck?
We were talking about movies and I saw it come up earlier and then it just came up again. So I'm assuming it's a movie.
Yes.
All right.
See, I'm smart like that. That's how verbal communication works.
Mentioning Frank Sinatra, it's like, did you seen Von Ryan's Express? It sounds like an odd name for a music album. So
don't even mention Sinatra, man. I spent about fucking 20 minutes arguing with him over what a virus actually is earlier on.
God.
It was bad. It was bad.
Is it okay to make leather from your own skin? Let's say you lost an arm but still have it.
Yeah, that's weird.
But I like it though. I mean, it's yours, right? My body, my rules.
Look, if it's 7 days to die, you work with what you got.
If it's RimWorld, you work with what you got.
Yeah.
Shit, but what are you gonna do with like the skin from an arm? You make a glove. Make a glove for the other hand.
Make a book binding.
A book binding's good as well. Yeah, this is my handy book.
Did you ever see
well, never mind.
Did you ever see The Villain with Kirk Douglas and Margaret Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Roadrunner Dudley Do-Right comedy? No.
The Villain, long time ago, yes.
Oh, Lords, what do you think of the Earn It Act? It is a way for the government to stop or be allowed to look at encrypted messages on public applications.
It's the end-to-end encryption, which we were chatting about on the AAA earlier on. Whenever anything happens in politics, and in this case is the coronavirus, you have to look the other way and see what they're trying to push through unnoticed. So while this is going on, end-to-end encryption is coming along, which means like no privacy, guys. No privacy.
Blatant violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Fuck do I know, man?
I know you don't know.
Got an amendment ever. We got it right the first time in the UK. We ain't got no amendments, mate.
And no rights. That's the perfect way to do it. Is Monkey in the Morning a tutorial? It could be. Depends on how you use it. We give a lot of excellent educational advice and training over on that stream. All scripted, by the way.
It's a Christian podcast.
It's definitely not a family broadcast, though.
I know. Last time I was on there, we were discussing whether or not Marty McFly's mother knew that she was about to suck her son's dick, and the conclusion was, people, she knew.
We can't discuss that here.
She knew.
I'm gonna get in trouble. It's movie night, but it's not that movie night.
No, you're right. No, especially with like YouTube's new thing coming in, where they're leaving it to the bots while everyone else goes home. I'm not releasing a video until everything gets sorted out, mate, because there's no point.
Do you believe for a fucking minute that Google can't figure out how to do fucking work from home?
No, but I believe Susan Wojcicki is that inept.
Oh, fucking liars. They're fucking liars.
Other side of the coin.
Red Dirt says, did you hear they're trying to rename the Spanish flu? I wouldn't be shocked. It's the Kansas flu.
Revisionist history. Yay.
Yeah, it's very scary, isn't it?
But you know what's weird about this? Nobody has a problem with MERS. No, I haven't heard anybody complain.
I know at least 2,000 people who, can't complain about it anymore, but did have a problem with it at the time. Yeah.
Well, because MERS is not a phrase that automatically makes you think of Middle East. It's not like we call it the Middle East virus. It's just called MERS.
But it's literally what it's named.
How does MER not make you think of the Middle East? What was the fucking Jesus, the baby given? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
You're right.
From 3 Middle Eastern kings. How does that not make you think of it, mate? They were trying to poison him from the fucking beginning.
Scribe. They gave baby
it's a
Jesus
fucking
MERS?
conspiracy, mate. It's a conspiracy. The whole thing, it was fucking biological warfare from the start. Put in to incense. Myrrh smells nice. Great. Yeah, smell this, baby Jesus. Oh, no, he's dead. Oh, no, White King. That's how it happened. That's how it went down.
You know, you are like a discount Ricky Gervais sometimes.
Meaning I get paid less than him. That makes complete sense.
Yes.
Sanguine, thank you. It is illegal to amputations, and it is where most of the new human leather comes from now. Well, there and people like Gein, G-I-E-G-E-I-N.
Ed Gein. Ed Gein was the guy who killed a couple of people, but usually robbed graves to get their bodies and made a woman's suit out of it. And he was the inspiration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
Holy
Psycho
shit!
What? Yeah, Wisconsin. I read several books on Ed Gein, so yeah, go look up G-E-I-N, Ed Gein. Very twisted and sick story.
That's the sad thing, though, isn't it? Like, the more you look through history, the more you realize people have been fucked up since we started. That's a sad thing. We're not getting any better, are we?
Mm-hmm.
We keep fucking up, man. I mean, Wandering Lisa in the chat says, Drunken Uncle, it's Big Turtle. I completely agree with you. It's totally Big Turtle. But the fact is, Wandering Lisa, we know it's Big Turtle, but what can we do? Nothing.
You get salmonella from that. Oh, Lords, would you try margarita with lemon and orange and a chocolate lava brownie? No, because those flavors don't go together.
But it's a brownie, man.
Orange and chocolate can go together if the balance is right. If one's more than the other, it can go kind of yucky.
You telling me you guys can say no to a brownie?
Well, I could eat them separately. I'll eat my brownie, I'll cleanse my palate, and then I'll get drunk.
Oh, you're serious about the brownies. I am. Yeah. You're on the brownie tasting team. I'm
American, man. We're fat. We know how to eat our brownies.
Not me.
We just shove that thing in, and then whatever's next.
Are you a fat boy, Monkey?
Me? Right now I'm currently 210 at 6 foot tall. These
are all numbers. I don't fucking know what that means. Could you send me a selfie when this show's done? Could you DM me a selfie? I'll send you one back. I promise.
I don't have. No, I'm not taking a picture of myself. I can't wear shirts and I look doughy.
Oh yeah, lenses don't zoom out enough. I get
You know what?
Bob.
No, I will see if I can find my picture.
I want to see what you look like.
What about when you went to the wedding?
That's what I was going to look for.
Yeah.
No, but how long ago was that?
Oh,
What, last year?
last year.
Yeah,
2 years ago?
he's put on a couple of pounds since.
No, I've actually stayed about the same weight. I don't eat very often, Drunkle.
I mean, do you though?
I don't. It's weird. It's like being crippled and not being able to get to the kitchen is a problem.
Oh, houses have got stairs, dude. I mean, it wasn't new information,
yeah. You don't know much
Thank
about
you.
monkey and stairs, do you?
was it? Yes, I do. Do I? Was I making a joke because of that? I don't know.
I fall down them from now. Or from
Yeah,
time
no,
to time.
I was definitely making a joke because of that.
Yeah, how dare you, sir?
We're on the same page. We're all right.
Oh my God! Why is that? I didn't realize I had that picture on my computer. Thank you, Sanguine. He made a nipple belt, Drunkle. Also, people lampshades and upholstered a chair with a couple people. Wow.
Yeah, and some other things that I won't mention on the air. But yeah, he was a sick motherfucker.
A nipple belt.
Yep.
How many nipples does it take to make a belt?
Well, no, I mean it's according to ambiguous, isn't it? Like, because you just want the nipple going through the bit that secures the belt. That's. I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. A nipple belt in the end, doesn't it?
Do you look for chicks with really big areolas so that you don't have to use as many people?
It's not the areola you want, buddy, because you want the nip, the actual
Yeah,
nip.
I mean, it would look the same. It's the same pink.
It ain't about the look, though. It's about the security of knowing that when you are trying to murder your next victim, your trousers aren't going to fall down, because that would be embarrassing.
That's fair. That's fair.
I get it. I completely get it. And that is why I buy my nipple belts from Walmart.
Oh, dear God.
We don't have a Walmart here, which is why I don't use a nipple belt.
What do you guys have there? Nothing.
Just normal belts.
I'm so sad for you guys.
Well, I mean, look, if you want to be special, you can use a shopping bag as a string. But that's only for special occasions.
We've got
Tesco's. We've got Tesco's. Yeah. And we've got Tesco's, we've got Asda's, we've got Sainsbury's. These are name brand shopping bags. If you really want to impress anyone, don't use a belt. Just get a Waitrose bag or Marks and Spencer's bag if you want to be really posh. And wrap that around your waist and use it to tie your pants up right there. And people can see because it's got the green text. That's Waitrose. This motherfucker buys in a high area, even though he can't afford a belt.
Cryptic says, I bet Drunkle looks like Rick Mayall.
You're not a
Rick
million
Mayall.
miles off, Crypt.
Man,
You're not...
if only Drunko looked like Drop Dead Fred, that'd be great.
Oh, Scribe, a man of culture. Of course you know Rick Mayall. The guy.
Oh, yeah, the young ones. He's like, Vivian! Yes.
Wow! An American who knows the young ones. Did you actually find that show funny?
Oh, yeah. My sister and I watched the young ones, yeah.
Dude, you're incredible.
We're making a love connection tonight.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, it's more of a stalking issue, but stroke hostage situation. But no, I'm fucking impressed with that because British humor is quite niche as opposed to the rest of the world. So for an American to get the young ones of all things, I'm impressed, genuinely impressed.
We used to check out, they used to have video collections of the episodes at our library, and we check them out and watch them.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, Rick Mayall died.
Yes, he did, unfortunately.
That was an incredibly... I've never met the man, but honestly, I grew up with him anyway. It was an incredibly sad time.
I also watched
man on TV, ever.
I also watched a lot of Red Dwarf and looking forward to the movie that's coming out soon.
I'm not.
Oh, well.
I've seen their other movie. It's hit and miss.
Yeah, I know, but I like the old series.
Oh, the
Check
oldest
out your
are the best,
screens,
yeah,
gentlemen. Check out your screens. Jordan
Look
has been at it.
Nice.
Fuck
well
yes.
done indeed. You got to be careful with
looked...
those nipples, man. Those would make a great belt.
I'm not normally that fat.
Oh, put on. Is that your holiday weight? It's your coronavirus holiday weight.
Yeah, I'm staying in for the time being. I ain't got to go to school. I'm 14, guys.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna get us in trouble. Last one. Have you guys seen Monty Python? Fuck me.
Come on,
God.
dude.
Pythons.
Come on.
The Meaning of Life. I've never seen The Meaning of Life. It's one of the few I haven't seen.
Of
I've
course,
seen
I've
The
seen
Meaning
The
of
Meaning of
Life.
Life.
Yes.
Drunko had to be. Drunko was shown that at birth.
Not at birth. No, I think it was up until my teens because it was quite an old one. But then most of the songs I remember. Scribe, how are you doing for songs on Meaning of Life?
The one that I'm suddenly forgetting all of a sudden, but the one that
That'd be the Galaxy song.
it's a Galaxy song, and it's what guy? I'm blanking right now. Sorry. There are ones that'll come to me after I stop thinking about.
Oh,
it.
there are loads. I mean, it was like a fucking sketch show in movie format. It was way out there. I mean, if you get proper stoned and watch it, you're gonna have a great night, or a really bad night. Not up to me.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this one up. We will be back tomorrow on Satsu's channel, and he should be back with us at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, right after this, I have to get some stuff set up, and I'll probably take a quick shower, but then I'll be doing 7 Days to Die over on my channel.
Nice.
Drunkle, thank you for joining us, man.
Oh, mate, always a pleasure. As always, Monkey, thank you very much for inviting me. I've only got to turn up, chat, and I got an invite in my DMs. I fucking love you, bud. You're a good friend.
I love you back, man. That's why I invite you. Chat, thank you guys so much for the donations. Your generosity is humbling, and can't tell you how much it helps. Scribbles, my friend, a pleasure as always.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's it. That's all he says. I gave you all of that, and he just goes, yes. You do a stream with this guy 6 days a week. Are you going to take that, mate? There's no love here.
I do a stream with this guy 6 days a week. Why wouldn't I still find it a pleasure to show up all the time? Isn't that
Sing
evidence
him
enough?
a song. Cry. Show some emotion. Something, Scribe. Anything. Sacrifice a rat.
Your lives make us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
This is the end of the show.